Okay, guys, welcome tonight to the Elites on the Rise. You guys are rising, going to be elites. Many of you are probably elites already. That's good. Yay. So my name is Michelle Teague. For those of you that I have not had the privilege of being able to meet yet, my husband Rick and I are Platinum 1 Elite Black 2s. And we are super, super excited to be here with Modera and be here with all of you guys. I'm very much a privilege to be asked to talk on any training because we take it very seriously. And so I'm very excited to have all y'all on tonight. I want to welcome everyone, especially the new people. Maybe this is your first time to even join us tonight on Elites on the Rise. And we're just really happy to have you guys. I know, so proud of you for taking the time to be able to come on here. Once I start, I'm going to be going pretty quick. So just know that we are, we want to honor your time because I know you guys are all busy doing all sorts of stuff. So just welcome. And also realize that this, make note, maybe put it in your calendar if you haven't already. We do this every week, same time, same bat channel. Just different people doing it, and every single week it's an amazing training, and I always get something out of it. So it's just a wonderful time just to meet for 15-20 minutes and just get some things that will help you build your skills up, where each week you get better and better. And as I'm about to talk about, when you do that, it makes your numbers rise as far as the average of how many you talk to and then how many join, because as your skills go up, more people join you. So that's a good thing. Okay, so tonight I'm going to talk about making time and numbers work for you. And so I'm going to start with just saying, maybe you want to write this down. This is something that Rick says a lot. He says short-term, you need short-term urgency and long-term vision. So the short-term urgency is on your activity, and then you want your long-term vision to be your results, right? So right in front of you is when you're doing the activity. That's something that you want to be pretty urgent about. You want to get the activities done, the simple activities of, posting and follow-up, especially follow-up, guys. I wish I could. Maybe that's what I should have done. I know we have other people that have done great trainings on follow-up, but man, follow-up is just one of those activities that the better you get at it and the quicker you do it, the faster you have people join you, and you have people also, buy your product. So purchase your product. So anyhow, just you want to make your time count. Obviously, everybody's busy. A lot of you guys are doing mama time, right? You're fitting this into different times. I'm a Mimi. I have 5 grandchildren. So, you're fitting this into maybe different times of the day, and you just want to make that time count, right? You want to take everything else out of the way, make that 15, 20 minutes, however long that you work your business. I do it in little 15 to 30 minute increments, if that makes sense. Even I do that, guys. So I know you guys are doing that too. So while you're building your business, you just want your time to really count. And that is by paying attention to making sure that you're doing actual connective activity, that's conversations with humans. If you're not having a conversation with a human, you almost can't call it an activity, right? So you just want to pay attention to that. If I'm connecting to a human, either through Facebook or social media in some way, just make sure that that when you really are saying, hey, I'm working right now, that actually means that you're talking or connecting with a human being. Okay, either just kind of starting that conversation where later on, maybe it transfers into talking about products. You're having conversations that are stirring up the waters, so you can actually get those new customers and maybe talk to people about the business. Sure, anytime that you think of, am I doing my business? Yes, if you're talking to humans. No, not really if you're not, most of the time. Now, right now, obviously, this is part of your business, but it's not the activity that I'm talking about that you're going to be, doing throughout the day to actually build your business. So Yeah, just make sure you're talking to humans. That's the main thing about that. So there is something that we learned a long time ago. Rick and I have been doing this in this industry for 37 years. And so one thing we learned a long time ago was something called, I hope I say it right, I always mispronounce it, but Sinaloa. So Sinaloa, Sinaloa. There's safety in numbers and law of averages. So safety in numbers and law of averages. So how I like to look at this is, especially when you're when you're anywhere in your business, we're always trying to maximize our time and get better at what we're doing. And so you want to do that with your numbers and your time. So let me just give you an illustration of how you can look at this. Let's say you have a funnel. And every time you talk to a person and you introduce them to our products or to our business, you basically are going in the top of the funnel, right? So when you first start this, you're building up your skills, you're getting better at things. So let's just say someone is on here and they've been in a year and they've been doing this for a year, or let's say even 6 months. So if they've been doing this every day for 6 months, they're going to be a little bit better than somebody who just started last week, right? Because they've been doing it long enough to build their skills up, right? So they've gotten some skills, they've learned a couple things, we've made some mistakes by then, and we're like, oh, I get it now, I got it. And you're changing things, you're planning, you're doing, and then you get to review what you've done, right? So you've done some of that. Whereas someone who's just getting started, their skills aren't quite caught up to that yet. So someone who's been doing this for maybe 6 months and has learned a little bit ahead of the other person who's not, they may be able to talk to 5 people a day. Let's say they do that 5 days a week, and they may be able to get 10 to 15 customers, maybe one person who's looking at the business. I'm just making those numbers. It's different for everybody. Versus somebody who just got started, they may have to do it for a couple of weeks before those numbers start to kind of change into that. Let's just say someone's been doing it a couple of weeks, and they talk to 25 people in a week, and they're like, I only got 5 customers, and I haven't got anybody look at the business yet, right? So it just means the skills are going to pick up. And so later on, as you go through your business and you put the same amount of people in the top of the funnel, you guys are going to get better and better at follow-up. Everything's going to get better. You're going to have more people come out the bottom of the funnel. But let me tell you what won't happen to any of us. If we put one person in the top of the funnel in 1 week, we're not going to get 20 out the bottom. So that's one thing that we've got to do, is connect to humans, and you've got to figure out how much time you can put into this and how many people you can talk to and connect to each day, right? That's in your bucket to figure out, right? And you'll be talking to your mentors and your upline, and you guys can discuss that. I usually use 5 people a day just because, sometimes that's just kind of an average of what a lot of people can do over a long period of time. Sometimes you'll come into this business and you're like, heck, I can talk to 10 people a day. I can do that. So, you're going to go up, you're putting more people in the top of the funnel. Guess what's going to happen? More people are going to come out the bottom. So you want to kind of think of that as you're doing your business. So if you go through the week or through the month, and you end up at the end of the month and you're like, what the heck happened? I didn't get as many people to join me or to buy my product. Then you want to look, how many people did I put in the top of the funnel? How many people did I follow up with? And how many people came out? And usually you're going to notice that follow-up was probably the part that got a little off. Because sometimes we just think if we throw them in the top of the funnel, they're just going to come right out, but they don't. They hold to the sides. They don't want to go out yet. They're not sure. They haven't had all their questions answered. So that's why you just want to keep putting people in the top of the funnel, and you want to keep following up. A good rule of thumb, something I do, I like to keep things pretty simple. I usually follow up about 4 days. And then I'll just ask something simple like, hey, you know, any day you should be getting your product. I'm just checking. Let me know when you get it. You know, or have you gotten it yet? 4 days, they probably haven't, but I like to just kind of touch base in about 4 days after they've ordered. You can also go look and kind of check on their order and see what it, you know, what you see the status of it is. In about 12 days, they should have gotten the order. Hopefully they've told you, but a lot of times they forget, right? So that's when you're checking up saying, hey, oh my gosh, you know, I'm pretty sure you've gotten your order. What are you loving about the product so far? I like that question because they have to figure out something they love about the products. Even if it's how they look, they, you know, you sit there and they stop and they have to think, oh man, what do I love about this stuff so far? And then you can follow up one more time. I like 4 days, 12 days. And then I'm usually gonna, you know, come in there about, you know, at 12 days. Oh, 12 days. I also like to, if they've got the lean body system, I'm saying, have you, you know, have you done your measurements, all that kind of stuff. You want to follow up with that. You know, you can do 12 days and say that. And then in a couple of days, follow up, you know, at 20 days, follow up and ask the other question of what are you loving about everything? What are you loving about the product so far? You can switch your follow up. You just need, every time you follow up, this is something that I always try to do, try to ask some kind of question, not a yes or no question. I don't want to get a no about anything. I want to say, what are you loving about the products? Um, was it, you know, just anything, just anything. Just figure out some creative questions to ask them. I just always like to ask questions, and I try to figure out a question where it's not just a yes or a no. Because I want to have conversation, right? More conversations, more money. All right, so we talked about condensing. Oh, so one thing you can do is, let's just say you have some extra time, like 1 week you can talk to 5 people a day for 5 days or 6 days. And then the next week you see that you can talk to more people. It's just always going to speed up the process the more people you put in that funnel. Another thing is you can think of like a month. Like let's say you're just getting started or you just got started, and you're just going to get a lot more bang for your buck if you can talk to 50 people versus 5, 1 a week or 1.5 a week. I don't know, 1/4 a week, whatever that is, versus 10 a week or 15 a week. Like, just know that things are going to speed up for you the more people you put in the top of the funnel. And if you've got 100 people on your list, hopefully you've made your list. I think some other people have done this call and talked about that. If you've made a list, try to contact them as fast as you can, without stressing yourself out to, you know, too much, right? I say, let's say a little on the edge, right before stress. But you want to stay in that excitement mode. It's a lot more excitement to be talking to people and you're getting them in the funnel versus just kind of plodding along and you talk to one person a week. Just make sure you're talking to lots of humans and getting them in that funnel. So a couple things that this will help with. I want to just say a couple things. So when you keep up with your numbers, a lot of people are scared to do that, or they, you know, it kind of feels wonky because maybe they don't feel like they've done that. There's maybe feeling like, oh my gosh, my numbers compared to somebody else's numbers aren't going to look good or whatever. You know, you need to know your numbers. It's hard to do anything without knowing what's going on, right? If you're going to get wherever you focus, and if you're not focused on something and you're not thinking about, okay, I'm trying to get to bronze this week, I need 5 customers, right? And on average, I need to talk to about 15 people to get 5 customers. Or, oh, you figured out by your funnel and by looking at your numbers, I need to talk to about 20 people to get 5 customers. Now, sometimes you'll get 5 customers out of 10 or 5 out of 5. That'll happen, but you got to know your numbers for yourself so you'll know where you're going, if that makes sense. And the best way to do that for us, I have a funnel. And so I'm literally writing people's names when I put them in the funnel. I have a sheet that is follow-up. That's kind of the midsection of the funnel. So I know exactly what I'm doing with them and how many times I've followed up. If I just follow up with someone, I don't expect as much to come from that person as someone that I've maybe followed up 3 times with, right? And then you want to know, okay, I put 25 people in, I got 2 people out. Well, okay, so this is the time. I don't have a visual tonight of the funnel. I wasn't even going to talk about the funnel, but it came up in my head when we were talking. So it's just a funnel, putting people in. You got your people that you're talking to. The midsection is follow up. And then just coming out. What are they coming out as? A customer or a social marketer or someone interested in the business. So it helps you to see what you're doing. It helps you to see where you're going, and you know, you're going to see, okay, last month, I talked to this amount of people and this amount of people came out of the funnel. Those are the numbers you need to know. Because the second thing I was going to talk about tonight is you want to take these number mentors to your sponsor, to someone in your upline, and go over them if you're not happy with them, or if you want to speed them up a bit. Hey, Amy. All right, does that make sense? But listen, you're gonna get a lot more out of that conversation if you bring the numbers to them and you say, okay, Amy Gleave, I talked to 25 people and I only got 2 people out the bottom. And Amy is going to say, okay, so what did you do in between talking to them, getting them in the top of the funnel and talking to them about your product or the business? So what did you do? What did you say? Then she's got something to go from. And she's also going to know it has something to do with follow-up. And then you can discuss what part of that follow-up is slowing, you know, kind of stopping the funnel up a little bit. Maybe you talked to 25 people, you got 10 out, but you'd really like your averages to go up, then that would be another conversation, right? But if your upline, if your sponsor doesn't, this is what we get sometimes. Hey, I talked to a whole bunch of people last month and nobody did anything. I'm like, okay, I don't even know where to start with you. You know, it's a different conversation if you have some numbers that you bring to the table. Yourself and for them, right? Because you're being teachable by, you know, bringing them the numbers and wanting to learn something, but it's so much easier for everybody to get to the next place that you want to go if you've got some numbers to talk about. And almost every time you numbers, you see it yourself, right? But that does not mean that you can't take those numbers and take those things to your upline and say, hey, I want these to get better. I want my of averages of who I talk to and put in the top of the funnel to get bigger coming out. Does that make sense? So yeah, so that'll help everybody a lot if you'll just keep up with those numbers and don't be intimidated. If you can talk to 5 people a day or 2 people a day, that's what you're doing. That's what you've decided to do. So do that. Be you. Don't be intimidated and think, oh my gosh, Michelle said I had to talk to 10 or 15 or 20 or 25. Get your time, figure out your time, figure out what you can do and start it out that way. But write who you talk to, how many people you actually talked to, sent a link to about the products, and how many people said, yes, I'm interested in looking into the business. One of the things that might happen sometimes on that part is you did not connect them with your upline mentorship, which is very helpful to do. And so you might look at that too, like what's going on that side. That's when I would just get with someone with your upline and say, okay, that's what I'm doing. I talked to this amount of people. I talked to 5 people last month about the business and nobody joined. So that's when you can really have a good conversation with your upline or a mentor or whoever, and just ask them, what do you think I'm doing wrong? You can talk to them about what you said. They might just say, oh, just, hey, say this, right? It may be just a little bitty tweak of something that you're saying, or maybe you're just not coming across a certain way. Maybe you're, you know, it'll help just to make sure you have your upline on with you every time you do talk to someone about the business or even the product at first, right? Just a little bit, but especially about the business, it'll help you a lot. You'll get better at getting at those numbers, averaging out better. If you're listening to your upline for a while and hearing what they're saying whenever they're talking to people versus how you're talking, right? Because those are skills, right? Those are skills that they've been in a little bit longer. They've worked with a few more people. Oh my gosh, I just listened to Amy Gleave talk to my person and I picked up like a whole bunch of stuff I'm going to start saying now, right? So that just helps a lot and it ups your averages. Okay, so your numbers in general, if you start keeping up with them, your numbers of people you're putting in the top of the funnel should get better on average of how many are coming out per those. So it might be 25 in the top at first, and your first month you get 5 out the bottom. What you want it to look like is 25 the next month. I mean, this should be a little bit more than 25. Obviously, I'm just making that number up. 25 in the top of the funnel the next month, you get 7 people out the next month. Or maybe you only got 3. So can you see where you need to start looking and say, wait a minute, what's going on here? And sometimes you'll notice, I didn't put enough in the top for what I wanted out the bottom. Because if you want a lot of people out of the bottom, you've got to put a lot of people in the top. And they got to be actual humans that you're talking to. Not your dog, not in your head, the people in our heads. They got to be actual humans somehow that you're actually talking to. And you might even have a place in the follow-up or in the talking to where it's like, I talked to them and here's where I actually sent a link, right? So you may be talking to someone and maybe there's something going off between sending them the link and right? So you'll be able to start seeing what's going on, and you'll be able to take that information to your upline and be able to strategize with them and get some information. And as your skills grow, I promise you guys, you're going to get more people out of the bottom of the funnel the more people you put in the top. Your averages are going to go up, no doubt at all. And so I'm just really excited about that because I know that this is something, and you have to be so patient with yourself, guys. Remember what I said at first, be patient with your results, but not your activity. Watch focusing on what's coming out of the funnel to the point where you stop putting them in the top of the funnel because you get discouraged. And talk to your upline before that or right when it happens so they can help you walk through that. We have a lot of people that I won't hear from them for a while. And then when I do hear from them, and I've reached out to them, but maybe they back out to me and they say, oh, I did this and I did this and I just couldn't get anybody. And I'm like, well, why didn't, let's talk. Let's go over a few things first before you totally give up. There's something here we can fix. It's a skill. That's all it is. It's just a skill. It's something about the activity and skill, not you, right? We have to learn to not take everything so personally and just say, I'm just going to get better at this every day. I just want to get better at this every day. That's it. A little bit better is going to be a lot better later, right? So just make sure that you're just not too hard on yourself while you're learning, especially if you're brand new. But let me just tell you, I just went to that new conference in Salt Lake City, and I sat in the audience just like everybody else, and I learned so much from the trainers that taught. And I just thought, oh my gosh, I'm upping my game, right? I'm getting better and I'm doing this better. I'm changing a few things up that I've been doing that I've been kind of griping about. So I'm not pulling as many people through whatever funnel I'm looking at, and I'm wondering what is going on. And I figured a couple things out by being humble and teachable and listening to other people and learning from them. And so that's what I have for tonight. The main thing also is just to keep getting on these kind of trainings, because every single time you do, you learn a little something that helps you up your game, up your skills, get better at what you're doing, get more people out the bottom of the funnel. So anyhow, I love you guys and so happy to be here with you tonight. And I hope you get a couple things out of this that help you get more people, humans, out of that funnel. And we will be here, like I said, same time, same bat channel next week with some other amazing trainers. And so anyhow, very excited to be with y'all tonight, and we are done. We'll see you next time.